It's very dry.
Mm.
Yeah, very dry.
It rained here yesterday, I think.
Jeremy, talk to us more about how dry it is.
Okay.
A smidge.
Yeah, how
super
dry
dry.
is it? Yeah.
Like, it's very dusty. I just cleaned both our cars today, inside and out.
Are those euphemisms?
Yeah, they are. In other words, I gave her the minivan.
You
Well-
call it the minivan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Babe, I'm going to park the
that-
minivan real quick.
I
it's
think
2 in the front, 5 in the rear, man.
I see.
We'll give you the full detail.
I don't know what better way to describe the movie we're looking at today. Over
Yeah.
the top.
Yeah, you got to go
1987
underneath before you go over the top.
Well, welcome back to Rabbit Troop Sucks. As always, we are a podcast about obscure, forgotten about, and often overlooked films. And yes, today we're going to be looking at 1987's Over the Top. Sly Stallone back at it. Last time we saw him we had Cliffhanger, we had Demolition Man. What can't this guy do? He can go over the top. Well, as always, I am your host Paul. Next to me is host Mike.
Hey.
We have our friend and debut of Hazel. Hi, Hazel.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and Jeremy.
Greetings.
Hey, buddy. And Jeremy's wearing a shirt of himself today.
Yeah,
Which
just
check
in
out.
case I forget who I am.
Check out rabbittroopsucks.com.
If I do forget who I am, I'll just glance down and be like, oh, I'm Goo.
You are goo.
Yeah, we don't need to put that into context. I'm sure none of that needs to be explained in any capacity, I'm sure. Fantastic. IMDb's description of this movie: tough trucker Lincoln Hawk is determined to win back his son and triumph at the World Arm Wrestling Championships. The first thing I've got to note, because I've got to get this off my conscience, and I think Mike knows maybe where I'm going with this, is a little bit of trivia. You will see this truck again in what movie, Mike, from 1989?
Oh, Wizard.
The Wizard. Fred Savage, a movie we are destined, that's right, destined to become friends with on this show. One day we'll cover it, but yes, we will see this truck again in The Wizard with Fred Savage. And sometimes you just got to go to California.
California.
Has anyone not seen Over the Top in this room?
This was my first time watching Over the
that's
Top.
right.
Was it really?
That's right.
Yeah.
This
That
was
was
also my first time watching
Oh my
this.
God. Well, you're welcome.
I had to check several times that it was correct.
Well,
You couldn't believe
Because
it.
I couldn't believe that this was the movie I was supposed to watch.
this whole month is outside of Thanksgiving week. This whole month of November is a collection of requests. And this is a request from Hillary. Hillary, earlier this year, if not from last year, but I think earlier this year, requested Over the Top. And we definitely had this on the list. So, wow, we got 50-50 in the room. Mike and I have seen this movie numerous times together.
That's true.
Did you hold hands?
Well, I was just saying we held hands and went over the. Mike had to get the strap.
Yeah. We watched it strapped together.
Yeah, someone's like, you better get the
That's
strap.
Tandem
I-
watching.
Yeah.
I've been known to be a little slippery. So
Well, couple breaks for sports cream application, but
yeah, this whole episode has been brought to you by Sports Cream. For all of your cream needs.
Thank God for sports
All
cream.
of your
Yeah.
cream needs. Wow.
Number one cream for sports. Excellent fashion.
we're all wearing ripped up tank tops right now.
Mine
Yeah.
says New York. Like I was a
I thought
ballet
about
dancer.
wearing a tank top.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you should.
You know,
Dear God.
just like arm wrestled my mic. Like, yeah, beat this motherfucker.
Sometimes you got to remind yourself of how to arm wrestle. Bull later does that, where he's like, arm down. He goes down.
There was a lot of like downward arm gesturing in the finals, in the room at the finals. A bunch of guys going, arm down.
You got to pump it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. This is not my scene. This has never been my scene.
You're telling me you've never been to like an arm wrestling competition?
Just-
I mean, what kind of
just-
what kind of an American are you?
I think just the energy level alone is not my scene. Just as Hazel is noting, like people's, I don't know, like amping up talks of like, put it down, dog. Like, and then people in the background like, yeah, you could do it, Scooter.
The crowd was bloodthirsty.
I know.
They were.
Right. I've never been that emotionally invested in anything in my life.
There was a room where I want to say, like, conservatively, 200,000 people were rooting for 4 arm wrestlers.
Yeah. This was the biggest thing in Vegas then.
Yeah, 100%. It
I
was
mean,
on
the airport.
the television
Yeah.
in the airport.
You get off a plane and all you could see is arm wrestling championship updates and
There was a kid coming out of a luggage chute, and people were more focused.
and
This
his,
kid, dude.
and his,
Oh my God.
And his pristine white pants never once got scuffed. That's
I was rooting for the cars to run him over in this movie.
We all were.
those pants were tied to altruism. You couldn't get whiter than those pants.
Wow.
That's right. That's right. Well, yeah, I mean, as noted, we've got a bunch of weirdos in this film doing weird stuff. Yeah, I mean, Sylvester Stallone is one of the writers of the film, so we've got that. The director is also the producer of Cobra. I think that just says everything that I need to say right there.
Are we ever going to do Cobra?
We've got to do Cobra. Okay. Cobra is so fantastic.
I would like to do Cobra.
Well, yeah, I mean, but this was prioritized. I mean, Hillary did note this movie quite some time ago.
That's true.
And so, yeah, we had to get on top of this. We had to go over the top with this, Mike. And I kept thinking jokingly, you know, one of our episodes was we did Cliffhanger, and we did, if you have not heard, listeners, we all did a episode where we all had some drinks, and every time someone said, God damn it, thank God we had the foresight. We didn't do a shot. We just did like a sip of a shot.
It didn't matter. It was this podcast had 8 hosts before that. We lost a few.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, did you make it to the end of the movie?
No one did.
But I kept thinking, like, what if we had like a drinking contest where you just had to do a sip of the shot where someone just referenced going over the top?
You wouldn't survive.
Right. So at first I just thought jokingly when someone was like, hey, Mike, this is how you go over the top. I was like, that'd be funny. But then like within 20 minutes of the movie, I was like, oh my God, they just keep talking about it.
I was watching this movie, and every time somebody said over the top, I would just say alone to myself in the room, like, that's the name of the movie. And I annoyed myself because they said it so many times. I was like, it's not even funny anymore to
I know.
me.
They have to get the strap on themselves.
Yeah.
They're getting slippery.
They were so slippery they had to put the strap on themselves.
The product sells itself, Jeremy.
Hey, I'm
Slathered
thinking
in
this
sports
was
cream.
Sylvester Stallone. I mean, do you honestly think that a man his size could beat a man of the size that he beat in the end?
Yeah. I mean, when we get there, they're showing like all the scenes of like the Mad Dog dude and Bull. And Bull's arms are like bigger than my body, and Hazel's they show Sylvester Stallone like, turn around all tough, and Hazel's like, he looks very dainty. And
He was so petite
Yeah.
compared to the other walls of humans that were arm wrestling.
Bull's arms are like, for Christ's sake, like they are just like pipes, like these just ginormous ham hock pipes of like fury.
He's like a would you say he's a bulging beastly man?
Bulging.
Oh, yeah, that's
beastly
an
man.
accurate
Blue
description.
leisure suit. But yeah, I mean, I agree with Hazel that the daintiness is. Stallone turns around and he looks like a Christmas ornament. Like, he looks just like proud, like he's prancing around. His little New York.
I mean,
shirt.
at that point, all of them were as shiny and sparkly as Christmas ornaments. So.
Yeah.
It's the man glisten that you don't want. That's another. Everyone's all amped.
There was a
up.
lot of man glisten in this movie.
Too much.
Yeah.
I'm
much.
also just now realizing that, of course, they all had to wear ripped up tank tops. None of them could put their arms through regular shirt
Yeah.
sleeves.
They started as regular. They tried, but it just
Yeah.
They put on regular shirts, and they just exploded into ripped up tank
right.
tops.
It was like a Hulkamania thing.
Yeah.
Jeremy, do you think you could take down any of those pythons?
No, I would run very fast. I think I could outrun most of the guys. I will say this: Sylvester Stallone looked like he did not want to be making this movie. Apparently, he made $10 million making this movie. But
might
he
not
does
have
not
been
look excited in any scene throughout any of this movie.
I mean, he wrote part of it, so I mean, like,
I read somewhere that he kept turning down the role, and he said, Well, producers just kept offering me more and more money. And he actually agreed to it because he said, well, fuck it. I don't think anyone's going to see it. And he
Wrong
was
again.
wrong.
That's why when you said he was the writer, I was like, what the fuck? Really? Man.
I agree, though. He seemed very disinterested.
Well, like, we know he's a good actor,
Yeah.
even at this point. But it really felt like he was just kind of phoning it in.
I would argue he's also a good writer. He wrote
Sure.
Rocky,
Yeah,
and that's a good movie with good writing.
right.
This was the opposite of that.
Correct.
The writing was not good.
This is not that. You were great. I totally agree.
I'm just sad that I haven't seen this kid in more films. I mean,
Oh,
he was a fantastic
I'm not.
actor.
that little scamp.
He does a lot of voice acting.
What's his name? I don't know anyone's name in this
No, it
movie.
doesn't matter. Hey,
Hawk.
it's Hawk.
That's one name that I do know.
Good.
That's the only name
Yeah.
you need to know.
It is.
It's Hawk, his son Michael. We have Jason, the father.
Bull.
Bull.
Who's Jason?
Jason's the father. Jason Cutler is the grandfather.
Oh, the grandfather. Okay.
Hey,
Oh, the grandfather.
Where's Colin when we need
Yeah, I
the
know.
grandfather? Hey, Jeremy, really, before we get into the movie, I think the real question is, how are you going to whisper this movie to your wife tonight? Like, hey, we're going to go over the top.
I don't know. Just
Maybe
go over the top.
I always recommend a solid Jack Palance. Like, hey, buddy. Like, wake and that's how I want to, word by word, how I want you to wake up your wife. Like, hey, buddy, we're going to go over the top.
Big beef.
I want you to wear a hat and then slowly, right before, turn it around and be like,
Yeah, turn it
it's like a
backwards. Like,
switch. It's like a feel like
time to go to work.
like a machine.
Like a truck mic?
Yeah, like a truck.
Yeah. Maybe you could like load up a YouTube clip of a truck. That'd be nice. Put some headphones on her.
You know,
Got some
I have some
AirPods.
questions about the whole thing.
Yeah, no. Ask the question.
Yeah, we're here, Mike.
Well, first of all, this is. I
was gonna
thought
say,
that
Mike and I are here.
like
to
I've
help.
never seen this movie, but I do remember seeing advertisements on like television when I was watching like normal TV as a kid. Like it's coming in. You know, you have like the big fucking 6 channels that you watch.
Yeah.
And yeah, you would see advertisements for this. I thought there was going to be more arm wrestling, to be quite honest with
dare
you.
you.
Was there not enough
How
for
dare
you?
you?
Because the last half
There was-
hour of the movie is exclusively arm wrestling.
It is, but it's just like there's like 500 people in this competition, and it goes by in like I think about 2 minutes.
You don't have enough. It's not over the top enough for you.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be him like going from like honky tonk bar to honky tonk.
Well, damn
bar.
right. It should have been Bloodsport of arm wrestling.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
That's what I thought it was going
Blood
to be.
sport with fucking arm wrestling.
Instead, it was Kramer versus Kramer with arm wrestling.
With arm wrestling.
There was only really one set up at a honky tonk bar. So let's just jump into it. So we get America's favorite little boy. We get Michael, everyone's favorite squirmy son of a bitch who just is stuck up as all hell.
Yeah, this kid sucks. He's giving Michael a bad name.
Yeah, he's graduating, I guess, like junior high military school, which is in
Dude,
Colorado.
that's an extravagant fucking military.
Yeah, that's the part that's in Colorado, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, where he was going to catch the limo?
Yeah. I think that this is all the Colorado
It was supposed
stuff.
to be Colorado. The school was all those shots were filmed in California somewhere.
California.
But they were I don't know why they were supposed to be in Colorado.
Yeah, but they're in Ouray, Colorado.
Yeah, where there is no military camp.
Yes, but
We-
there's
we have-
Colorado.
We have one in Colorado Springs. I
Yeah.
think.
Well, that might have been too expensive.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, they spent all the money on Sylvester Stallone for this film.
Sports cream and baby oil.
Yeah.
The baby oil budget was
a ditty
out of
party.
control.
Or it might have just been regular oil with these guys. That one guy drank something.
Just regular oil.
Yeah, that
guy, yeah.
drank
Like
motor oil.
10W30,
Yeah.
baby. Put it on.
Yeah, that guy did drink some.
Yeah. Well, he had to put out his cigar with something.
That guy was intimidating Sylvester Stallone by poisoning himself in front of him.
I mean, fair move. You didn't see it coming. That
Wild card, baby.
right, like that guy's like one step away from digging out like a Bowie knife and stabbing himself in the chest. Like
That'll show him.
my dedication is death. I will come back for you. Together we could power up your arm. We could do it together, buddy.
Buddy.
I mean, if Sylvester Stallone had a ghost arm, this might be a whole different story for me.
A ghost arm, like an idle hands.
Yeah, like that guy kills himself and inhabits his arm, and then together he amps up Sylvester Stallone's arm, and then he just goes around arm
love
wrestling
that
everyone.
movie.
Super ghost arm power.
Yeah, that'd be great. That's all I've ever wanted.
This movie, I had never heard of this movie. And every woman that I've talked to in the last 24 hours about this movie also had no idea what I was talking about.
Sure.
But every dad that I talked to in the last 24 hours was like, that's over the top. I love that movie. Holy shit. So hyped.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Hulk out. God damn it!
Like I was blown away. Like just it made me feel patriotic for
Right.
some reason. Like just the opening shots, like Sylvester Stallone like brushing his teeth and like brushing his truck, like that's
With the same brush.
with the same brush. That's America.
Gotta
Yeah.
keep that truck clean, you know?
Yeah.
It looks rusted. It looks like you could never clean it
Hazel
enough.
tied her hair back with a American flag bandana.
Yeah.
She's like, oh!
I was like, I've never felt as patriotic as I do right now.
Yeah. Yeah. All the dads in the neighborhood came out like with their brisket that they
Yeah.
smoked. Like the Steely Dan is playing from
Mike,
somewhere.
Mike was bouncing fruit off his chest like it was Journey 2
yeah,
with
I
Luis
was
Guzman and The
popping,
Rock.
popping grapes off my pecs, as one does.
I was throwing
Mike-
fruit and they're
Mike.
going this way and that.
Are you gonna modify your car to have like exercise equipment in it
Yeah,
so that you can work
absolutely.
out while
Yeah,
driving?
I gotta
I
have
loved
that.
that so
right?
much. And that was such a tiny little throwaway bit.
Yeah.
They never circled back to it. It wasn't a regular thing. But you just see him. He's just pumping his arm, driving his truck.
Yeah, man. Well,
I am going to be haunted by what Hazel just said through your observations, but I can't make a fairer assessment that like I could imagine every dad in the world like ripping off shirts, oiling themselves, looking at themselves in the mirror.
please don't imagine that.
Turning their caps backward, putting on their suspenders.
Jeremy,
ready to
it's the
roll.
equivalent of seeing Dr. Chalice's ass in Halloween 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well,
It's America's ass.
Well, we pick up this little SOB who graduated, and the guy running the military school's like, I know this is kind of unorthodox, but the mom called in, and basically, I don't know anything, but the dad's in control, so you could just go. And the kid's like, I've never really met my dad. He's a loser who left me. The guy's like, whatever, kid, I don't care, and this is the law. And your mom called it. Your mom gave me a note, so it doesn't triumph over note anything. So get the hell out of here. But you know what? It's gonna be a learning experience, kid. And your relationship with your father, you know what? It's gonna go over the top. Boom. It's when you have a drink.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll do it now.
Pour that scotch.
Mike's doing it. I'm drinking a Sprite. Mike's. What are you drinking?
A beer.
Nice.
Go now. Go, 12-year-old boy with this man
Yeah.
who lives in his
get outta
truck.
here.
Well, he wanted proof at least.
Fair.
Do you have any ID? His ID was a picture of him and his ex-wife, I guess.
I love how
normal stuff.
That's what
quickly-
counted as ID in
yeah,
the 80s.
right.
I love how quickly this kid has a mental breakdown.
Oh yeah, he gets in the truck. He's like, I don't like this truck.
Yeah, this kid is like
I
all,
don't feel sick.
Yeah, this kid's all like in interrogation mode. Like he's hot shit. He's like,
It's like,
Yeah.
sir,
yeah, he's like,
Oh, all the fucking sirs.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh, sir.
yeah, but he's also like, you don't need to talk to me. We don't need to engage in conversation. In 1991, a movie similar to this, written by John Hughes, Dutch, comes out with Ed O'Neill. There's so many similarities in these movies, like two bratty kids, two fathers who know a little more. But yeah, this kid is like, you know what? Why didn't you even write me? Like, you don't even care. You show up. He's like, it's complicated. It's complicated, Mike. Coral. It's complicated.
God damn it, Coral.
Coral. It's complicated. And like that's all he's really saying. And the kid's like, well, you never even wrote me. He's like, what? Oh my God, I wrote you birthday cards and Christmas cards and Hallmark knew me my name. They were like, what's up, Hawk? And I was like, hey, buddy, I'm sending my kid a card. And the kid's like, okay. And then I swear to God, 4 minutes later, the kid is like, "You never loved me," and jumps out the car into traffic. There was like accidents. There,
he jumps
I
out
know,
of the
man.
truck and runs over to
Like,
a
what are you
fence
doing?
and like
And then,
feels it like
dude,
like it's a
nobody
force field.
calls
Right.
the cops.
No.
And
It
then
was
he
just-
runs
fuck?
through traffic across what I assume is a highway.
It was,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
easily a highway.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and you heard like the banging of cars, like. He's like, "Oh, where are you going, Coral?"
There was somebody you could hear in the background, "Hey, get that kid out of here."
Well, I mean, could you
Your kid on the
imagine you're
street.
driving down the highway, you see a kid leap out of a semi, then you see the driver like take off across like 6 lanes of traffic,
Right.
tackle the kid. And you're like, fuck, man, L.A.
Yeah.
You know,
Weird
Let's
town.
go.
You're like, you know what goes good with this? Carl's Jr. and their ketchup.
Brought
If you
to you
didn't-
by Carl's Jr.
If you didn't see it on the back of our cabs or the Carl's Jr. Food all around, brought to you by.
I could go for some Carl's Jr.
What would you order?
I don't know. I don't think I've ever been to a Carl's Jr.
you don't need to go there.
I don't.
It's Coral's Jr.
Coral's Jr. I don't know
Coral's
what they
Jr.
have.
You should roll up there tonight, Mike, and tell them that. Hi, I've never been to a
Yeah.
Coral's
What,
Jr.
what would you recommend? What's good tonight here?
Do you have any specials?
Yeah.
Which chef is in the house?
What's the shit?
Is there a
What's
soup du
market
jour?
price back there?
I'll just do the tasting menu. That's fine.
Oh, what kind of ketchup you got?
Yeah.
Put the little packet in my mouth. Mouth packet.
Local man shot at driver.
After requesting soup.
Mike and I were in a Taco Bell drive-through late one night, and neither of us were. I don't think Mike ordered. I know for a fact I didn't order anything, but I don't think Mike ordered anything.
Why were we in the drive-thru?
I don't know.
Okay.
Just holding hands.
And
Yeah.
Just taking a break.
and
We went to fourth.
a person in front of us fell asleep like two cars down. So like people are coming out with
I remember this.
like mag flashlights. They're like, "Wake the hell up!" And they're like, "Oh my god!" And they're like driving off, and all of a sudden like some ragtag fight starts in front of us, and everyone's driving off. Is banana.
That was a weird time.
Yeah, Colfax, Taco Bell, still there.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
What's strange to me is that I knew exactly which Taco Bell
Yeah.
you were
You
talking about.
obviously
I was
did.
like,
In your heart, you knew.
Yeah.
I just pictured it. I was transported there.
Did they have like active arm wrestling competitions going on in the back
Of
room of the
course.
Taco
Yeah.
Bell?
That's how you paid.
Yeah, that's of course.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden after this traffic jam, this ram jam of traffic that happens, they basically become best buddies.
Yeah. Well, briefly, they have phases of being homies and then being enemies.
Yeah.
But they go to some awesome looking diner.
Yeah, and in the backdrop, we have Jason Cutler, who's the grandfather.
Oh yeah,
Tracking him.
He's trying to track him down. He's got he has like some kind of wiener lawyer goon and then like beard goon. He's got a couple heavies that he's got.
And it's so
Those are
sad because
accurate descriptions of his goons.
okay.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
and it's so sad because he's the nice boss from Big. He's who
I
hires
know.
Tom Hanks.
He is the nice boss. From
I was so
Yeah,
sad.
Robert.
I wanted him to be a nice grandpa. But
Yeah.
he was a real dickhead.
But the whole time his like facial expressions are too happy. He's like, I hate you, Hawk. But look at me. I'd hire you for my toy store.
With like a soft
big.
smile.
Yeah. Well, I
Make
honestly
you vice president.
I don't think this guy was really the villain. Like, hey, like I can give this kid a good life. You left when he was a child, and I don't like you. Like, I think that's all pretty reasonable.
Yeah, but
Well,
it seems
so-
like he edged him out.
If
Like-
it was anyone other than Sylvester Stallone, we'd be rooting for the grandfather.
correct. Yeah.
It sounds like the grandfather may have like framed Sylvester Stallone for some kind of drug thing.
He may or
which
may not
caused
have
him
done
to, like,
something.
Well, he was
get out.
Well,
he
that
was
was-
planting seeds.
that was
for
one of
sure.
that was one of son Mike's questions. Like, so you still dealing drugs?
Yeah.
Do you have any drugs, pal?
And you know how Sylvester
He's
Stallone.
like, if I'm gonna have to ride cross country, in this truck,
rolling
I'm gonna
dirty
need
here?
drugs.
'Cause,
well, you know how Sylvester Stallone talked himself out of that. He goes, "No,"
no.
and that was it.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of questions like, "Why did you leave? This is complicated."
Made mistake.
Maybe he was dealing drugs. I don't know. Maybe
Oh, well,
he's
he never
selling
really
drugs.
tells any of us. But right, like we never fully find anything out, right?
Well, we infer that that grandpa
implications?
was spinning. Yeah, it's because of the implications. If anything, it was probably like steroids.
That would be
Based
100% believable.
Based on the company.
Give him a gym rat.
Yeah.
You love mom and I.
Enemas.
That's what sports cream is.
Yeah. It's rectally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doing a couple lines of sports cream.
Yeah. Break me off a piece of that.
Sports cream. Yeah. So now we're at a bar.
Yeah.
Now Mike is gonna learn the ways of arm wrestling.
This is the first scene where they really take it over the top.
They do. They go way over the top.
Yeah, I like that immediately. Like every time they stop at a place, Sylvester Stallone's like, "So, how do you like this place?" I'm like,
This place sucks.
right, like there's not really a big draw for kids. Like, honest to God, so this is like 1987. All right, like, do you have like a Pac-Man machine in the corner? Like this would probably like infinitely make me like this place better,
Right?
Because it's like I assume 1:30 in the afternoon, and it smells nothing but like empty beer bottles and sports cream,
And it's packed.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So, I don't know. I was like a 12-year-old boy. I love it. It's fancy.
Also, everybody knows Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
In this
That
bar.
also
He walks in,
concerned
they're like,
me
"Oh, hey, here's Hawk."
so much with all of these truckers / arm wrestling competitors are just hanging around in a roadside restaurant, or was it a bar? I couldn't
It was
tell.
a little bit of both.
Little
They
bit
had
of
good
both.
steak, apparently.
Oh, nice. What
Yeah.
goes good with that steak?
But I'd also like to point out that until most of the movie, until we reached the halfway point at least, that kid didn't like being anywhere with Sylvester Stallone. He took him, I don't like this truck. I don't like this roadside bar. He didn't want to be anywhere with him.
No.
In all fairness, though, I would have been pissed in that bar.
I think if
Like,
I
this
was
place
a kid,
fucking sucks.
I think
dude.
I would have been stoked about it.
Really?
Yeah, I would like, man, there's like all kinds of honky tonk action.
You could have made
Arm
a
wrestling.
Honky tonk action.
like you could have made a human
steak?
slip and
Good
slide
steak, yeah.
with all the
Yeah,
man
I wanna
glisten.
see
You could
Mike
just
in
lined
some
up all those
honky-tonk
people
action.
and
Yeah.
just like dove across them and used them as a slip and slide.
Right. And they had, they made his fucking gross tuna on whole wheat toast.
Yeah, with some like sparkling water
Yeah.
with
I can't
I like how the
believe I
fucking
forgot
bar
about
had
that.
it. They're like, yeah, okay, we'll get you that.
Still water with a slice of lemon, please.
That was
Steak comes
wild.
out.
That was a wild order.
It was a wild order. Well, what the steak was full of cholesterol,
Oh yeah.
like the bad kind.
The bad kind of cholesterol.
He was going to get cholesterol poisoning. He was concerned for his father.
Tuna salad on whole wheat toast and still water with a slice of lemon.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's so? Well, I
They don't
assume,
have tuna salad.
Well,
in
I was
that
going to assume
place.
they
If they
have
did, you don't want to eat it.
that all of these things are true. Because I assume they might have a tuna melt. So I'm like, what they probably did is scoop the innards of a tuna melt and put it on lettuce, and as I assume that kid was served.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, they were both served. I'll
They
take
just
two.
I was gonna
slam the
say-
kid's head into the bar.
Yeah, that would be an appropriate reaction.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah. What do you think their ice cream situation was?
They had Neapolitan.
Nice.
only. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Pralines and dick.
Yeah,
Well,
extra pralines.
Yeah. We don't get to see him eat the gross tuna salad, though, because very quickly we're shuffled off for a little bit of arm wrestling.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, he's got to go to work.
well,
Yeah.
immediately he's just called out. Apparently, like wherever Linc goes, that's Linc and Hawk to all of
Oh,
you.
guys, do you know this man's name that is challenging Sylvester Stallone to the arm wrestling match?
Like his real name or his character's name?
Yeah,
You
his
mean-
real name.
Is it Smasher?
That's his character.
No, his
Oh, that's
name
his
in the
character's
movie
name.
is Smasher.
Okay.
Yeah. What's his name in real life?
Oh, please tell me.
It is Magic Schwartz.
Magic Schwartz.
Magic shorts?
Schwartz.
That's what it says right here on
Schwartz.
IMDb. Magic Schwartz.
Okay,
I love it.
May the Schwartz be
Yeah.
with you.
He's got the
that
good
tickled
Schwartz.
me.
I got the bad Schwartz.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really stuck in my craw.
That's the worst place.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's immediately called out. Smasher's like, heard you're the best. Let's do this. He's like, I'm eating tuna sandwich with my son. He's like, wait, your son? Whatever. You can watch. You can eat that tuna sandwich as he
can
watches. Don't get any on the table. It's just cleaned. And then Hawk's like, you want to see something? They're like, Linc. And then he goes out. And then he talks about over the top. Takes it out of his sheath.
Wow.
They go into like a back room, don't they? Do they go into a separate room away from like the bar?
Oh, you got to go in the back
Yeah,
room.
you can't be going over the top around patrons.
But it was almost like they
Yeah.
had a specific arm wrestling spot in this honky tonk bar.
They
It's
were
a
just
big
waiting
deal,
for him.
Yeah.
Hawk rolls in
Yeah.
and out of this place. He's like a celebrity.
I learned a lot about arm wrestling and fatherhood from this movie.
This should be like a fucking guy's manual to
Yeah.
live in, you know?
Well, I
Like,
mean,
do you have a kid? Watch fucking Over the Top, dude.
Yeah.
I think in reality, like most people would, like in all seriousness, would be like, I believe in second chances. But the real lesson in the second chance in this movie is, hey, if you stepped out on your son, you could always win his affections if you win a tournament, if that includes a truck, if you best your grandfather. Hawk style. That's how you do. I got to do it.
That's complicated.
Well, there's a lot of
I am
ifs,
my own
but
grandfather.
I'll have some arm wrestling. Well,
I like how something that no one understands has become just a staple.
that's
Just-
fine.
Yeah.
I was also thinking, like, man, can you imagine ordering like a shrimp cocktail at this bar? I bet you'd feel good after that.
Yeah.
I bet-
Yeah. How's
feel
your
like
ceviche today?
They couldn't show them eat the tuna sandwich because the rest of the movie would just be them recovering from food poisoning.
Yeah.
It'd be like that Futurama episode where like the worms invade the brain.
Absolutely.
Just the internal.
Hey, Fry, what's that black thing? Cracker. Tomato.
But yeah, Smasher gets smashed. Kind of like at first you think Hawk might lose, which is kind of weird. But you do find out that maybe he's hustling him. I don't know what's going on in this situation. Is Hawk about to lose in reality?
I mean, it looked like he was, but then
His son's like, you hustled him.
he went over the top. Going over the top seems like it wouldn't be a legally sanctioned arm wrestling.
But also, was he about to lose?
He was saving his energy. I don't know. I've never really arm wrestled anyone. I know you can't tell from my voice, but I'm not a very strong individual.
Mike's
Don't
practicing the whole
listen to him.
time.
He's arm wrestling someone right now.
Yeah, every podcast
Hey,
I've been arm
Listeners, there's a whole rig that we've kind of like pantomimed throughout where you have to like practice arm wrestling in your truck. Mike's been practicing those moves the whole time.
Is it this move?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That's it.
accurate.
Yeah. It's
That
exactly
gets you prepared
that move.
for a variety of things.
I thought so. Listeners, I know you couldn't see that, but it was.
It does, yeah.
It was
It's
as
a
sexy
shame.
as you think it was.
And back in Mike's day, he was known as the Colfax Nightingale.
Yeah.
As long as I've known him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a beautiful, beautiful song he would give into the night air.
Yeah, our friend, actually, one-time host Gabe, he did
Six Abe.
Six Abe, yeah, he did used to refer to me as Turquoise Falcon.
Now that's a nickname.
Yeah,
If you go into professional arm wrestling, can I suggest that?
Yeah, the
As your
turquoise
handle?
falcon.
absolutely.
So I watched this movie over at my parents' house, and my mom, her only commentary was when the son got he was whining the whole time. She would said, "God, this kid's a bitch," and then she left
is, man.
the room.
He's
And I
total
was like,
bitch.
she's not wrong. But my dad came into the room right as Hawk was arm wrestling the Smasher, as it says in my notes.
Your dad was like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
He did. He was hyped. He was like, oh, it's a special move.
Was he wearing suspenders?
My dad,
Yeah.
you know,
Put him on, Mike. I'll be right back.
I was really focused.
Pause it.
But yeah, I think he may have been.
TiVo this.
If my memory serves, everyone was suddenly wearing suspenders.
He's snapping him.
You can't watch this movie not wearing high-waisted trousers and suspenders.
Yeah, that's the rules.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Extreme
Smasher
downward.
gets smashed, and then I don't think he wants to pay. No, you gotta pay. He paid, and then
Also, there is a big brutish man that comes in the bar and
Enter the
subtly touches the young boy's hand at the bar.
gently.
This was a very
kid.
weird exchange. Like,
Hey kid,
is that your
what
dad?
are you doing
I'm gonna
here?
fuck your dad later, or whatever he said.
So in a
Sorry, I wrote it down. I was paraphrasing. Oh no,
Big beef.
It is in fact not. I'm gonna fuck your dad.
is it
later.
not? Okay, yeah, I can't find my note. I knew it's something like that. Oh, is that your dad? That's too bad.
Yeah, and in this weird, in this super weird
Fuck that guy
way,
in the mouth later.
I think it tried to show that like he was assessing the situation. Like I could have said more, but I'll dial it down,
Yeah,
kid.
he doesn't want to go over the top quite yet.
Right.
He's willing to though.
I mean, he's gonna have to at some
Yeah.
point.
He really
All
held
options
back
are
with
on the
that
table.
comment.
Yeah,
It was like a soft diss.
yeah. Well,
Makes me so mad, Coral.
There are so many like odd lines in this movie that I want to try and test out in real life.
What was the shitting one? I have it written down somewhere. Is that towards the end?
Imagine walking up to a kid and being like, "Is that your dad?" Too bad.
I'm highly
can't.
surprised that neither Mike nor Paul has made reference to the soundtrack of this film so far.
you know,
The soundtrack's terrible.
this might be the worst soundtrack of any movie we've ever done.
Yeah, the soundtrack is just abysmal.
it's awful.
Yeah,
It
it's
all just sounded so just like generic
Yes.
America.
If you had told me it was the same song over and over again, I
Yeah.
would believe.
I mean, one of the
100%.
songs at the end is highlighting like going over the top. I'm like, are you kidding me?
it. Yeah.
That yeah.
Well, it's just a recap in case you were unclear on what happened.
Then they get to the end of the credits and it lists all the songs and it's just the one.
The son Michael kinda sucks over the top.
The soundtrack and this kid make you kind of angry
Yeah.
throughout the movie.
Yeah.
May all of your enemies have sons like this. Yeah, this kid sucks a long time.
He does suck a long time.
I mean the whole. I do understand kind of what they're trying to build. That Hawk never reached out, but then there's this. Then Hawk becomes the Hawk.
Yeah, I mean, you can't blame him for this. Hawk knew what kind of kid this was going to be. He's like, I don't know.
He looked at him at 2 years old and he was like,
This fucking wiener.
I gotta get out of here.
This kid cannot go over the top.
This kid's too soft. Well, the one time the kid and I can agree is the kid after the arm wrestling back in the truck. The kid keeps trying to turn off his shitty music.
Yeah.
Well, no. They also call mom. He's like,
Well, he should.
they call mom
Yeah.
in the house. So mom's in the hospital. Mom set all of this
okay,
up.
yeah.
So yeah, Christina. So it's like he's like, hey mom, I went over the top. She's like, that's so amazing. I knew this would work out. Put your father on. And he closes like the payphone. He's like, hey, hot stuff. So this is totally working. She's like, I knew it'd work, Hawk. I knew you could make him go over the top. He's
She's
like,
in a hospital bed at this point.
Correct. Yeah.
yeah,
Can someone explain to me their relationship presently?
he went over the top.
Is that what
I
it
don't-
is?
That's how babies are born.
So
I don't know,
Because
man.
he's calling
It's
her
never
like
explained.
babe and hun, and
he
they
talks to
Well,
he
they
calls
were
her pet
married.
names.
yeah. Well,
Her last name is still Hawk.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're divorced.
Yeah.
No, I would imagine
Because
not.
It's Christina
everyone
Hawk.
else refers to her as Hawk's wife.
Yeah.
Right.
Present tense.
But he's
Wife.
he's just dicking around. He's somewhere else.
Yeah,
He's
he's
out-
been gone for 9
wearing
years,
his-
10 years.
Fucking high slacks.
He's been-
driving
yeah,
his
he's
truck.
eating
He's been driving.
Steaks.
He's like, I got to drive.
Listen, guys,
I got to hit the open roads, baby.
I'm sorry. Let me take you all back in the past. I'm sorry that maps didn't exist on everyone's phone, but Hawk got lost for a little bit.
I see.
I was back.
He's been trying to
That'd
find
be
like
the
a
greatest
AAA
fucking
office to get a
explanation.
triptychs or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Maybe.
he got lost. He learned the way
There's a
of
lot of
arm wrestling.
roads out there.
Yeah.
He came back. He's back for his son. He's back for his wife. His wife.
Adrian, there's a lot of roads.
It's Hawk's wife. Wife.
Can I please bring up that they sleep in the truck
Yeah.
after this?
Sure.
And they've spent, I don't know, time is really odd in this movie. I was guessing they spent maybe like 12 hours together at this point. And so
It's
that's
supposed to be like 3 days, like
At
2 to
this
3
point?
days. Yeah. No, not at this point,
okay.
but like
Total?
this overall
total.
journey.
Okay.
So yeah, so at this maybe they're together for like 6 hours.
It
And
couldn't be long. Yeah.
He says to the kid who still does not like him at this point, he says, if you need to sleep, you can use my shoulder as a pillow.
Want to-
Yeah.
That's weird.
It was
Suddenly
even the
now
kid
you
was
have
like,
on
no,
my
I'm
shoulder."
good, weird. I was like, Oh, but you might want to though. If you did, it's cool.
No thanks,
I won't get a
sir.
boner or nothing.
Yeah, so it's a lot. It's
He's like, I've made this pouch for you.
So,
So
like,
climb in if you need it.
each creature has a different entity. So like the Gorgon in like Medusa, she like when she reveals her face, you turn to stone. Sylvester Stallone, when he waxes his, bicep, and when you look into it, you are just subdued. Like he is like a vampire. Like you want this on my shoulder? Okay, Dad. You had that tuna sandwich. That kid had the best GD sleep of his life. You sleep on Stallone's biceps.
Stallone offered his shoulder as a pillow, but then in the next shot, Stallone is using the kid as a pillow,
How the turntables.
which is not surprising because that kid was soft as hell.
Yeah. Kid was soft as hell.
doughy little bastard.
You weak boy.
I really think the original term that you used, SOB, fits him perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in an effort to stem his little soft wiener issue, there's a wow, that didn't come out right.
No, that didn't. No, it's making it worse.
Yeah,
Came out perfect.
we have a morning workout montage.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You got to work out and everything's fun.
Sylvester
fun in the sun.
Stallone doesn't.
Yeah.
He doesn't need a gym. All right.
no,
I've got a
he's
truck.
got his arm thing in the truck.
The whole world's your gym.
Yeah,
They show them doing the pull-ups on the front of the truck,
Yeah.
on the grill of the truck.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's what you got to do, and that's how I wake up every morning.
Yeah.
Mike and I just run up a mountain and lift logs with with just like our arms.
Like commando.
You wake up every morning, tear the arms off of your military
Right, we get a
jacket.
new shirt every morning.
yes.
Tear the arms off.
Yeah.
then at
Sheen.
night we sew them back. But then
These are our
Mike,
drippings.
Mike and I have been doing this over so many years. Like it's basically we're like a tumbling unit.
That's
Like
what the women arm wrestlers are for. They're for sewing the sleeves back on.
Like
Yeah.
I do a somersault, then do kind of like a frontal flip into Mike's chest, but then he catches me, I backflip off a tree. It's amazing.
It's like a very rustic Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, I mean, so this has been brought to you by Colorado Travel Agency. So come to Colorado, tumble in the woods.
Yeah. View this. This is
Yeah.
the 2-man militia.
Yeah. Actually, it's more like the scene in Hot Rod where he falls down the mountain.
Oh man, just come out and tum. Everyone loves
What
to
about-
tum.
Everyone loves a tum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you like what you see, Mike?
Yeah, I did. No.
It also caught me off guard that at one point they were hauling an entire full, I don't even know what they're called. I'm so bad at trucking. I'm so bad at arm wrestling. But it's like
Yeah.
a full truck bed full of brute aftershave.
Oh yeah, they had the aftershave
Oh yeah,
shipment.
you're riding with style, riding brute.
Well, they had to get that to Vegas real quick.
It was really
Yeah.
important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't want to run out.
Mike's go-to is he whispers in one ear, "I'm going over the top," while he whispers in the other ear, "It's brute time."
Yeah.
And then the next thing we're in a hospital, which
Yeah.
is true. We're seeing mom. We're going to see mom in the hospital. Just a couple fellas.
Oh yeah, they did go to visit mom.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Great time.
And
Go
who
back-
are you?
To go back to Hot Rod, it's going to be a legit time.
Yeah.
Too legit.
Too legit.
Legit to
But
quit.
but this hospital is not legit.
No.
And I was forced to quit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Goodness
Was
gracious.
that the cut it out?
That's right. It's a hybrid. Well, mom's dead. And it's a real bummer. It's like, hey,
Yeah, well.
like, hey, I'm Hawk here to see my wife. Who are you? My husband. Oh my God, we need to talk to a doctor. Then this doctor like IFs the guy like for a full minute, like, your
There's a
wife
lot of
died on an
looking
operating
down
table.
and looking back, there's like averted gazes and then meeting gazes awkwardly.
I think it would have been classier if the doctor wrote a note, folded it in half, and then just slid it across the table. Your wife dead.
DED, dead.
He made like one of those like grade school it's like the 4 quadrants that you flip.
Absolutely.
I don't know what that's called.
So what was your question? I'm looking for my wife. He unfolds it like, nah, bro, she ain't here.
Let me get
Spiritually.
Let me get this magic 8-ball out real quick.
So
Signs points and no.
do you believe in psychics? So we find out that mom's dead, and Mike goes into ballistic mode where he just like traffic runs again. He's like, no, and he freaks out, and Hawk tries to comfort him. He's like, no, buddy, it's gonna be okay. Yeah. And then he just gets into a cab and leaves. And Hawk really doesn't really try to stop that at all. I would freak out if how old is this kid supposed to be? Like 12?
He's supposed to be 12 years old.
Yeah, so just gets in a cab?
Yeah. It was a different time.
It was the 80s.
Where's he going? I mean, I know where he's going. He's going to see his grandfather. Like the cab driver agrees with this. Like, all right, kid.
Yeah, sure.
I need to go 80 miles away. No problem, kid. Hop in.
When I was 12, if I got into a cab, I'd be
Do you think
kind
the
of
kid showed him like a diner's
my
club
grandfather.
card? And the cab driver's like, you got it, buddy. Wherever you want to go.
He's like, take me to Jason Cutler. He's like, no problem, young squire. Actually, Mike is like this. He's like, oh, it's really scary out there. He's like, ain't better in here, kid. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
See, again, we've come back to this is why I think this movie is for the dads. Ooh. The mom has maybe, it felt just like 20 seconds of screen time in total before
the mom had the intelligence to leave. She's like, I am not destined.
She's
for
like,
this
you have
story
one
or this
page of
world.
lines for me.
Goodbye."
Make it one paragraph. Thank you.
Goodbye, Linc Hawk. Goodbye.
I said goodbye.
I said good day.
Yeah.
Goodbye, horses. I'm flying over you. Goodbye, horses. I said no, sir.
Show him your skin
I
suit.
truly wish that was playing in the
do not
background
agree.
somewhere of this movie. That would have been such an improvement on the.
It would have been a better
Soundtrack.
soundtrack choice.
Wait, does the kid take a cab back at this point?
Probably. Yeah, I think so. Does he runs out to the parking lot of the
Yeah,
hospital
he takes off.
and he hails a cab.
There are two things I know to be true about this kid.
yeah.
When he is upset, he runs into traffic.
Yeah.
And then
He's a
he
master of
just gets
four
into
wheels.
random vehicles all
mean,
throughout this movie.
They a bunch of goons do try to apprehend him earlier, which we skipped over. And
Yeah, that's what I'm.
But yeah,
confused
now-
about.
now-
that doesn't fucking matter.
yeah, but now they're at the hospital when he finds out mom's dead.
And he does retreat to Grandpa's.
Wait a minute. Can we
Well, it happens,
circle
you know?
back to that kidnapping scene?
Okay.
It just
Oh, it was
seemed
very weird. Yeah.
like a weird
Well, the grandfather
thing
had
to
paid these
insert
dudes
into
to
the
come
movie.
and try to get the kid.
There was a car chase.
Now, I don't know what that would have accomplished because, what are they going to do? Take him to the grandpa and be like, Grandpa, why are these guys bringing me back to you? I don't understand what's happening.
There you go.
Well, at one point, Stallone drives his truck
Yeah.
through six
Well, you gotta
lanes of
save that
traffic
kid,
and through
you know?
a gas station.
Right. He
I
destroys
think
people's property. Yeah.
I want to say he hits the
Yeah.
car that his child is in.
Yeah, a little bit. Just a bit.
He said
Just
no.
a bit.
He said no, sir.
Yeah.
I do not agree.
Yeah.
One thing that we did kind of skip over. It's right around the time of the kidnapping. He convinces his son to arm wrestle some bigger kids.
Oh yeah. Methy and the boys.
Yeah. And he loses the first time, but he wins the subsequent times
Yeah.
because he
The
believes
Bushido
that he
blade.
can.
And he goes over the top.
He does. Well, yeah, you have to go over the top or you can't win. But this is kind of where Michael's starting to get a little bit more cool with his pops. It's also worth noting that while his son is arm wrestling this other random kid, Stallone is sitting behind him going, yeah, go over the top. Pump that kid. You got to pump that kid. That's how you win arm wrestling.
Foreshadowing.
You pump kids. Yeah.
Wow.
It is foreshadowing.
Lot to think about there.
Lot to unpack. lot to pump. I only bring it up to just highlight that like their relationship is okay at this point.
I wrote Mike's a real crybaby on the side. Not
Referring to me?
No,
or
the kid.
I don't like when we talk about movies that have my name in it.
Yeah. Well, you're Paladin, Mike.
Okay.
So.
Especially not in this instance when all of us are saying, God,
Get fucking Mike.
Mike
Right.
sucks.
It's just this is what I get at home, you guys. I don't need this shit.
The pumping. You get the pumping at home.
Don't ask me questions about my personal.
Ooh, I mean, you wore that shirt, Mike's Pump Chuck Wagon. I didn't really ask questions, but
Yeah, the pump truck wagon
Dump the pump.
it was a business idea. Okay,
how did it go? What kind of business?
poorly. Every time I parked,
It
an arm
happens.
wrestling competition broke out.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, too many tank tops and suspenders. I couldn't handle it. I couldn't go over the top.
yeah, well,
Not yet. You got to believe that you can go.
I didn't. That was my folly.
yeah, you're just too tense. Stop, untense yourself.
Once I install the little arm exercise thing in my car, then I'll be ready.
Yeah. You call him the jackhammer of the road.
Yeah,
For other reasons.
yeah. That's a different.
Look in that guy's trunk.
You can find out about that in the secret Dropbox. No.
Goodbye, horses.
Okay. Okay. So kids at Granpaps. Stallone comes to party. Sorry, Hawk.
Oh yeah. The scene's kind of weird. I mean, the scene's super bizarre, but like the weird guards at the door. So Hawk basically goes to see Granpaps, dad or the grandfather and the boss from Big. And he's clearly upset, like his wife died. And, you know, Hazel, you brought up, like, what the hell is the relationship? Like, we really don't know. Like, he loves her, but I don't know. But he's clearly distraught. Okay. The guards people behind the gate are really antagonizing the shit out of him.
I wouldn't have.
Yeah, this doesn't seem like a really good idea. Like, even if your boss is like, don't let this guy through, you would probably just deduce logically, like, this is a big dude. His son just kind of big enough.
He's petite.
And his son is gone, and his wife's dead, and he's got the crazy eyes.
Stallone just gets smaller and smaller throughout the
He does.
entire movie.
He's like Ant-Man.
It's the opposite of the hat from Scary Movie.
Absolutely.
He's one of the Expendables because he's only like 3 feet tall. He goes into like ducts and sewers and gets you. You never expect it. You're like,
Well,
oh,
that
God.
one wiener goon that antagonizes him. Yes, Gweener. He has a very much like O'Doyle rules kind of vibe about him. Like he very
yeah.
much like there's a lot of tapping on the shoulders with like 3 fingers.
I don't need any of your hawk
Yeah,
talk.
Yeah. Come on, boy.
Hawk Talk would be a good. Oh, I was going to say that would be a good podcast. Isn't that like the Wiener Enthusiasts podcast now? The spitting on the Wiener girl.
Oh, yeah. Hawk
Hawk
too.
talk too? That's hawk
Isn't
talk.
that Hawk? Does she have a podcast called Hawk Talk?
You're
Talk
listening.
to us.
That's
Hawk Twa. Okay, sorry.
We could have the spinoff.
I don't know if it's that actually.
No,
but,
that makes sense.
The people could write us and we could answer like advice columns, like, you know,
Yeah, people want advice from us.
I'm seeing this person. What would you suggest? But we will respond like Hawk. Listen, it's about the truck. It's not about the narrator.
The only advice I have to give is void of all emotion and just based around trucks.
It's not about the truck. It's about the truck.
This is your source for truck-based advice.
Your finest #1 source, Colorado truck-based advice.
A left-handed truckery.
Wow.
What the fuck's happening?
Mike's doing it. Mike's going over the top.
So, yeah.
No, Hawk
The
drives
guards,
the
they're not letting him
Yeah,
in.
the
Oh, they're
guards,
not letting
guards
him
like
in.
no.
Yeah, they're just
Fuck you, motherfucker. Get out of
So
here.
Hawk just drives the truck through the gate, up some steps,
yeah.
up everything. And then the dad's right, Jason.
Up everything.
The dad's like, do you think like you're gonna get away with this? Like you just drove a truck through all this. You think you're like just gonna like take your son and drive off and it's gonna be okay? Like he is correct
Yes.
in that. Like you do.
Yeah, he
think
gets arrested immediately.
Oh yeah, yeah. He
The only time he gets arrested, there are no cops called on this guy until now, and he has done some pretty shenanigan things.
Well, I mean, he hasn't really done anything wrong yet.
nothing.
I think so.
Nothing
It was the 80s.
I think driving that semi the way that he has been driving it halfway throughout this
He
movie.
does teach Mike to
Not
drive that
good.
semi.
Yeah.
And Mike's like, I'm doing
He
it. I'm
Mike
fine.
He
drives the
drives
semi
like
is
Michael
also a
J.
different
Fox
movie.
and fucking Frighteners, man.
He does.
But he
does
has a
drive like
semi.
that. But I mean, that one time he was chasing. He does have a semi the whole time. He was chasing down his son's kidnappers. That's legit.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, that's true. I guess if the vehicle that I had at the time was a semi,
It was.
and I
It
could
will
somehow
be.
drive it after my son's kidnappers, then yes, I would do that.
I want to phrase this word for word correctly for you, Jeremy. It absolutely will be a semi when this happens to you.
It could be. I don't know.
I
I mean,
thinking
it
back, I'm
sounds
thinking the
like
cops should have
truckers have
been
a secret
called
life out there.
when he let his kid run across 6 lanes of traffic and all of those cars ran into each other.
But, I mean, the police would have showed up eventually. He was long gone.
Yeah.
He's just faster than the cops.
Yeah.
They're going now. But yeah, so he goes to jail and he gets bailed out by Jason Cutler. I mean, essentially.
Yeah, well, he sends Wiener Lawyer to like cut a deal.
Yeah, he's like, I'm basically his secretary or his like whatever his like deal is.
Yeah.
He's like assistant, and he's like, this is the deal we have for you. We will just have you leave. Like, just get the hell out of here. Stop harassing us. We could look better, or we could look after your son better than you can. Things will be better. Just get the hell out. Do you accept this? He's like, well, what does Mike think? And Mike comes out and he's like, I didn't really ask you to leave, but like, they're kind of right. And like, even his son's like, they're right, dude. Like, what am I supposed to do? Live in your truck? Like, I don't know what to do here. He's like, okay, I'll accept the deal.
All logical points are made.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
Like, fuck, no, I'm not listening to any of this.
yeah, so Hawk's like, fine, I'll take the deal. And they're like, fine, we'll bail you out. Just get in your truck and get the hell out of here. And he's like, done. I will get in my truck and drive to Nevada to win an arm wrestling championship, to win the truck of my dreams, the heart of my son, some cash money, and I'll show Jason Cutler who I really am. Linc Hawk.
And he does all that. Yeah.
That's great. And then the movie's over.
He sells his
Italian
truck.
stallion,
He,
man.
Credits.
he rolls into Nevada. He sells his truck for $7,000. He's like, the guy's like, that's all I could do. He's like, well, I don't know what else to do. I got to take that money. And the guy's like, do I give a shit about your life story? Put the cash in the hand, little man.
I'm shocked that he got $7,000 for that truck.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That whole truck was made of rust.
Well, there were some other things exchanged.
And he
That
let
was,
him keep the hawk.
You can buff that out.
Yeah, well, that
But
was
buffing
exchanged.
out was the other, yeah.
He would have given him like $2,000 more, but he was like, no, I gotta
Where's
keep
the
the
hawk?
hawk.
Yeah. Well, where does the necklace?
Yeah.
It's
A
fashionable.
fun
It's-
medallion.
It's a belt buckle piece. Like, that's the belt buckle we need to get you, like a 4-inch hawk. Where,
Oh, a 4-inch what?
whoa, where's Colin? Colin's our bird guy. Remember, he was like, there was a bird in that movie. We're like the 6-foot eagle. He's like, I never saw that.
Senior bird correspondent, Colin.
I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, simultaneous to Hawk selling his truck.
Same time.
The Wiener kid is like snooping around his dead mom's bedroom, and finds all of the Christmas and birthday cards.
He did write me.
He wrote me. He loves me.
He's like,
Which is, I think he said that in the movie.
do you think he wrote exactly the way he talks? Like, that
Dude,
man.
the kid's face the entire time he's reading these notes made me want to leap through the screen.
There was lunacy.
And just get him.
Get him a present, Jeremy.
Wow. I know.
I was convinced that
yeah.
the grandfather was like hiding the letters in an effort to keep them apart. I don't know why the mom would
Yeah.
want them to reunite, but also hide all of their letters.
That's a very good point, and I thought the same thing. Because yeah, like you're thinking the grandfather like burned him or something.
Yeah.
They were in the mom's fucking purse.
I was convinced
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
he pulled out a purse. I was like, "Well, this is just ludicrous."
Yeah. That was Grandpa's purse.
Yeah, but what was the situation?
Cutler
The mom
purse.
was hiding them from the grandfather, but unfortunately the kid never saw them. It's kind of what I took it. Like, she was living with the father for some weird reason, and she's like, he can never know about these things. Maybe her plan was eventually to share all these with the kid. Like, the kid could know because the grandfather was so overbearing. I mean, I totally agree with you, Hazel, and everyone questioning this. Like, this is a thread of the story that is, like, not fleshed out in any shape or form. It's like, grandfather maybe okay. He does financially, like, take care of him. I don't mean that's just okay. He clearly loves Mike. Like he says it numerous times. Like,
Right.
I don't... How do I want to phrase this?
His heart's in the right place.
Yeah, like a lot of times in movies like this, You get like the overbearing, like soulless corporate grandfather who's like, I am only here for money. And Michael unfortunately lives with me, but like, meh. But he's more like, Hawk sucks. That dude doesn't have money and he's a bum.
Right.
Like, he left my daughter. He's driving up and down God knows where. He's not stable. Screw this. And I'm like, all right. Like, all right, I get your point. I think we're just like supposed to be shown that he's like way more overbearing, and it just he's the boss from Big.
There's a lot of shouting of "I want the boy, I want that boy."
Who wouldn't want that boy? My take is that I think the mother
man.
was the villain.
Get that boy out of here.
I think the mother was saving those notes, not showing Michael, and just when she realized that she was dying, kind of had a change of heart and was like, okay, I got to reunite this kid with his father. I don't think the grandfather knew any of this. That's my take.
You know what? I'm on board with this.
Yeah.
That she had that dying lady with 20 seconds of screen time.
Yeah.
She's the bad guy.
Well, I mean, everything that we see in this movie kind of points to that. Because the grandfather doesn't do anything that seems sketchy at all. Like, literally everything he does and says.
Well, he did send like
he did
fucking
hire some people.
redneck kidnap team after the
But, like,
the boy.
if you thought
Those
someone
were goons of love.
they were goons of love. If you thought
yeah.
someone that you cared about was, like, being kind of stolen by some bumpkin in his truck, you would take measures to get that kid back.
Also, I Want That Boy is a great back to a Rabbit Troop Sucks t-shirt. So might get in the
You
works.
want what boy? What?
And it could be BOI.
Oh, like a hot boy?
4-inch hawk.
Whatever you want.
4-inch cock? What? On the belt buckle? Hawk. 4-inch hawk.
Coral. Damn it, Coral. Where's my 4-inch hawk?
Kid's name should have been Coral. So kid, yeah, okay. Anyway, kid finds notes, freaks out, steals Granpaps' Forerunner.
Do you think this is a Christmas movie in the fact that he found the spirit of Christmas within those letters?
Yes.
Nice.
This right here, at this point in the movie, this is where things got cooking for me.
This is starting to go over the top for you.
This
when the
is
kid
where
steals like a truck,
he
and
starts going over the top.
drives to Las Vegas.
Yeah, Mike just hops
Drives
into
to
a
the
truck.
fucking airport.
Mike's up, not this Mike, but little Mike, everyone's favorite Mike in this movie. Mikey Mike. He just gets into a truck and drives off, and then he's on a little spiritual journey of himself. He finds himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From what I understand, and I'm a child of the 80s, I get it. I was unsupervised a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But this kid steals a truck, drives it to the airport, which, man, I still get nervous driving on the highway. And I'm in my 30s.
He's got it.
He just
Well,
went
Sylvester
for it.
Stallone taught him how to drive a semi.
The power
earlier,
of
and
love.
He can
Taught
now
him how to
drive
drive on the
everything.
highway.
Well, going over the top could be applied in many directions of one's life, not just in arm wrestling. And I think finally Mike found the spirit of that in driving. And as Jeremy noted, love. He goes over the top in love. And that's what we all learned in this movie.
I don't know if I noted that.
You
but
did.
I'll take it.
You did.
He drives a stolen car to the airport, gives the car to a guy.
Yeah.
Hey,
At
you,
the airport.
you can't
Keep
park here. Keep it.
That's
Keep it.
legally binding. He owns
Yeah.
that car now.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how I've gotten all of my cars.
Yeah. You just wait at the airport
Thanks,
for those
man.
kids.
I hang out at the airport.
Yeah.
That guy probably took it and was like, hell.
Yeah, sick. Forerunner.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And we don't see it, but he clearly buys a plane ticket to Las Vegas.
He either buys a plane, or I like to imagine he hijacks a plane and flies that to Vegas.
Yeah.
Sure.
He
He
might.
he smuggles himself in one way because the next time we see him, he pops out of like the baggage claim, like luggage chute.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I don't remember seeing that.
Well,
to
he
be
also has
honest with
very
you.
pristine white pants on, and he's coming out of like the dirtiest places of the airport. So I'm like, all right.
He pops out of the luggage chute. He hails a cab and takes that from the airport to the Las Vegas Hilton, where he then
Oh yeah.
manages to get entry into. Is the Hilton? I mean, at that time, was it a casino? I assume everything's a casino in
they're all
Vegas.
casinos.
So this 12-year-old boy just saunters through a casino into the arm wrestling
Yeah,
championship.
and why not?
Yeah. Seems
Yeah.
all on the up and up.
Yeah,
When you're wearing white pants like that, you can get in a lot of places.
it's true. It's all about confidence.
Yeah.
And the rest of this movie is just like a crazy montage of arm wrestling. We get to meet some of the competitors a little more than others. We get this like crazy.
These are
dude-
weird fucking things that happen.
Yeah, crazy
with,
dude.
like, yeah.
We've already noted like he eats a cigar and then later drinks oil. Then has Alka-Seltzer because he's not feeling really good.
Because
So
his tum-tum hurts.
Yeah. He's a sensitive.
I like how they have like the little like American Idol like side like I just like to be here, you know.
Well, the little side cameras. That's what I was noting. Where like, or I was at Hudson Hawk, Lincoln Hawk. His interview's like, it's not about notoriety. I'm just here for the truck. I really need this truck for my kid. My kid needs his truck. He ran out of toy trucks. I promised him Santa would deliver this year. I said I'd get him a $250,000 truck. I'm Linc Hawk.
Well, this is a nice truck though, man. It's
Yeah.
got an apartment on the back. of it.
$250K. Hazel notes that the women are getting the short end of the stick on this. There's also a concurrent women's arm wrestling tournament, and they get $50,000, and that is it. We see one woman once. She's like, "Yeah," and then you never see anything about that ever.
There's only one woman arm wrestler
won.
credited in
She
this
won.
entire movie.
She showed up and won. They're
Yeah.
like, "Here's your check." She's like, I go town to town, and I'm the only one. She's like, last year I made $14 billion. I showed up and I collected all those checks.
Yeah,
It's a nice business.
it's a shame, man.
The men's arm wrestling, they win what? The $250,000 truck,
And I think $100,000.
$100,000 cash. Not to mention
trophy.
he wins
And the title.
what 20-1 on himself in that bet.
20-1, yeah, he bet $7,000.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, that's what I call gamble.
Now
with
that's what I call
with that
gambling.
$7,000, yeah, he bets on himself, and
Yeah.
even the people called him out like, dude, good luck with that. But luck be a lady tonight because he's doing it, and he gets to like the final 8. There's only 4 tables. There's 8 people. Bull's part of it. The guy we saw before who's like, let's do it, and he's like, no, I'll see you in Vegas. Man, I'm gonna destroy your father, kid. Mike's like, yeah.
Is that your father? Too bad.
Polish his
You and me,
hawk.
kid.
Polish his 4-inch hawk.
Give him the talons, Dad. Wah! He swoops in.
And they make a point of mentioning several times that it is a 2-loss elimination.
Yes.
So you gotta
Yeah.
lose twice.
And eventually Hawk does lose. The guy who's drinking oil and stuff freaks him out. But Hawk's back in. It's okay. And I'll cut to the chase a little bit because I don't even remember half these people. We get to the end, and it's Bull versus Hawk. And at this point in time, there's a little break, and one of the goons comes down and is like, Mr. Cutler wants to see you. And he's like, all right, I'll see him. And Cutler's like, hey, I have this deal. I will give you a $500,000 truck. He's like, I'll give you $500,000 and an even better truck. Just take it and leave, dude. And here's the weird thing. He's like, what else do you want from me? I've already signed the papers that I wouldn't see my son. He says that. I wouldn't keep saying that if I were him. They're going to
don't
use that.
remind him.
They're going to use that a lot of times in court. Like,
He says that to the guy with a team of high-priced lawyers.
Right.
yeah.
And trucks, access to all of these trucks.
And then he's like, I don't need any of this. I'm going to do my own way. And he's like, you're going back on your word? He's like, damn right I am. And then throws a dude through a window and goes back down to fight Bull. As he is arm wrestling Bull, my favorite moment of the whole movie happens. Their man glisten off one another. And they're like, oh man, you can't like break contact. They're like, so beyond just giving you guys a warning, it's time to get out the strap.
They got the strap on.
At this point in the movie, everyone is so wet.
Oh, it's so wet. So shiny. All their beards are just glimmering.
I learned about that in health class. Yeah, so yeah, it's
They
like
work up a lather, man.
yeah, they did man lather. So eventually they are arm wrestling, and it doesn't look like Hawk's gonna win, but you know what Hawk does? I bet you're not gonna guess what Hawk does. He goes over the top.
What?
I know.
Yeah.
And he takes Bull
He
down.
does.
Here's the thing. Bull kind of freaks out and he's angry. But I think the more dangerous thing is they're still strapped together. I would assume he would then use Stallone like a rag doll and just use him as a weapon and like beat people to death.
No, you're right, but like honestly,
This was an immense person, dude.
he was
Yes,
he was
huge.
a big boy, but he was a pretty gracious loser.
Yeah.
He was a professional.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he hasn't lost in 5 years. He's like,
It's not about winning. It's about the sport.
and the glisten
And family.
and
And
the
the
sports
glisten.
cream.
Yeah.
Got it. I wonder if he still is a sponsor of sports cream.
We all
Hopefully.
are. Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, basically, all is good. That Hawk won all the money that he bet on himself. He has $100,000 from the competition. He has a brand new truck. He's outside with his son. He has, it was kind of noted earlier in the movie that a lawyer's like, dude, like, you have no legal claim over this guy to Jason Cutler. Like, you're the grandfather, but like, you just have to prove that he can't like financially support him. And he couldn't, and now he can. So there's not really much that could be done, I guess. The driving the truck into a mansion still could be a huge problem. And with a lot of high priced
Yeah,
lawyers,
like I'll sue you.
yeah, he can just like ruin his life. But I guess all is good, and he's like, we should start a company, like Hawk and Son, yay! And that's what they maybe do. And then I assume that truck is later seen in The Wizard, and that's where we're at. That's going over the goddamn top, every which way, over the top, every which way. Well, before we get into our final reviews, as always, feel free to reach out to us at rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com. If there's any kind of movie you would like us to review, if you want to go over the top, if you have suggestions on how to go over the top, under the top, or adjacent to the top, let us know. rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com. Visit our website proper, rabbittroopsucks.com. We have links to all sorts of things, merchandise, some of our episodes, pictures of us. We'll have a picture of Hazel there. You could see all of us in Rabbit Troop Sucks glory. In addition, we're on Facebook and Instagram, and we could be reached through all of those places. And if you're listening to us at one place, feel free to hop over to another place too. We're on YouTube. I like going to the podcast app on my iPhone. We're on Amazon. We're on everywhere there are podcasts. So yeah. What did everyone think about Over the Top? I'm going to start with you, Jeremy. You hadn't seen Over the Top. Was this movie going over the top for you? Let us know.
I watched this by myself. I thought it was a little ridiculous. No, I didn't like the movie, to be honest with you.
It wasn't over the top.
There were
enough?
some, like, I like talking about it because it's ridiculous, the things that happen in this movie. And it's much longer than it probably needs to be at almost 2 hours.
It's an hour and 27 minutes.
Oh, is it really?
Mike and I both said
God
at
damn
one
it,
point
dude.
we agreed that this movie feels a lot longer than it actually
It does.
is.
Yeah.
Wow, I was real off there. Yeah. No, I mean, and the kid really annoyed me. The soundtrack is so bad. It's so bad that it like detracts from watching the film.
So you
And,
wouldn't be
yeah.
pleasantly surprised if, let's say, a Secret Santa got you this soundtrack for Chris. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I wonder if you could find like the vinyl of this soundtrack.
Probably
100% you can,
You can
yeah.
find anything. Gotta believe.
Paul turns around like, here it is.
How dare you?
There's a copy behind it.
Original pressing.
I told you.
Face,
Oh wait, Jeremy was on. I was like, I do own a copy of Chopping Mall. That is behind me.
That's wild.
Hey Hazel, what did you think of Over the Top, 1987? Sly Stallone.
So I had never seen this movie, and I have watched it 1.5 times in the last 24 hours. And you know what? I'm kind of into it.
Hell yeah.
I'm not fully on board with it as like a movie that is entirely watchable, but it's like a fun movie to watch with your buds. And I will go on record as saying again, this movie is for the dads. If you are a dad, go and watch this movie. It'll teach you how to be a better father. It'll teach you some weird loopholes about how to get custody of your son in the 80s if you're an arm wrestler. And really, this movie has opened my eyes to the world of trucking and arm wrestling competitions and sports cream. So
Gotta have the sports.
really, I think I'm coming out the other end of this as a better person.
I like
Yeah,
hearing
this-
that.
Mike, what are you thinking about Over the Top?
No one in this room is wrong. This movie is ridiculous and pretty stupid. The soundtrack is awful. I don't know why I enjoy this movie, but I kind of do. I've seen it a few times. This movie came onto my radar, and Paul, I actually sent you a link to part of this. Back in the 90s, Sylvester Stallone was a guest on Saturday Night Live, and there's a skit where Sylvester Stallone plays himself saving Norm Macdonald from a car crash, and all Norm Macdonald's character can do is roast Sylvester Stallone about his movies. And this is the moment that I became aware of this movie, and I had to seek it out. And so I don't know why, but it just holds a special place in my heart. It's bad, but I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in full agreement with Mike. I mean, this movie is bananas, and none of the story really is cohesive, and a lot of it is just zany. But all of this is amazing. Everything that we're telling you, like man glisten and an apparatus in a car to help you, work out. All these like weird insults. It's amazing. Totally, I agree with Hazel. Watch it with your friends. Like, this is the way to watch this movie. So this is kind of where I agree with Hazel, and then have a depart, but kind of agree with Hazel too. I feel it's not a dad movie if you're in a group watching this, and that's how I'd want to watch it.
It's a real dad thing to say.
But if you're alone and you're like, oh yeah, look at him, that's a weird dad thing, and
that's how I watched it.
I know it. Mike has a different apparatus. It's for different things. He's like, yeah, get him, Coral.
I pulled down the lever, just squirts oil at me.
But yeah, I mean, watching this movie is a lot of fun because it's like of how silly it is and all the ridiculous things and the dialogue and all the like just the stuff that happens. So I would definitely say watch in a group. I love this movie for all those reasons. The soundtrack totally blows. That is definitely not worth anything except for the last song that mentions going over the top, because you could get maybe a chuckle out of that. But I thought, Hillary, thanks again for recommending this. This was a great recommendation, at least for, people who have not seen it. Hazel is a believer. So you got someone there, and you got Jeremy, who might not go.
The naysayer.
I've been converted. I'm going to go home and pour myself a tall glass of motor oil and eat a cigar.
Yeah.
We got another recommendation, as noted, outside of Thanksgiving week. All recommendations for the month of November. Reg, thank you so much. We're going to be hitting up The Perfect Weapon from 1991 coming up next. You're going to learn a lot about martial arts. You're going to be like, oh yeah. Or not. Mike's pouring motor oil all over himself right now.
Sorry, I'll clean this up.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Okay.
I mean, Lamar could slide in it.
Okay.
And any last thoughts about going over the top?
No.
Yeah, this is probably the only movie about arm wrestling, I guess,
Yes.
that you can probably find.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not an exciting thing. I'm very surprised that it exists.
I'm surprised, Jeremy. I'm kind of surprised you didn't like it.
Yeah. Come on, Grump.
Why do you say that?
Come on, Grump.
Yeah.
What are you drinking?
I'm not upset with you about it. It seems like this would be.
You'd want to be going over the top.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I didn't like.
It didn't send you over the
Nobody
top.
really seemed to be like into it. I don't
They're
know.
into it. Mm-hmm. You need some more man glisten.
So did you know that like they actually set up this arm wrestling tournament like for real? Like they did it with real arm wrestling professionals from around the United States. And like all the scenes that you see in the movie were filmed the day after this tournament went on, and all the audience members got to come back, and those were all the people that were at the tournament the day before.
Doesn't that make you more excited? You could have been one of those people.
I thought that was interesting, but it didn't make me enjoy the movie anymore.
Yeah, the guy that actually won the competition was in the movie. John Burznick.
You know what? I love this movie.
There's also
You converted him.
There we go. Got it.
Don't talk him out of it, Mike. He's there.
there's a documentary about that person called Pulling John,
Yeah.
which is a regretful name, but
It's called what?
Pulling John.
There's got to be another better way to say that.
Nope, that was the only way.
Nope. That one.
They picked it and they're like, you know what? Stop talking. That's perfect.
I
You know?
just blew myself.
We're gonna learn about a lot about
John.
martial arts next week. A lot of things.
Maybe you'll see some pulling John.
Yeah.
Hazel, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I hope you join us again. Thanks again for all the requests. Again, we're gonna have more requests all throughout this month. Yeah. As always, Rabbit Troop sucks.
Pulling John.